Good morning. With 11 days to go until Donald Trump is inaugurated, there's an incredible amount of activity, a real flurry of events, with the Biden camp and the war hawks escalating, trying to lock in place wars, and with the forces around Donald Trump looking for ways of outflanking them. And this includes the operations on the Middle East, the potential for a change there, which I'll get to in a moment. Let me just say that this is the time when individual initiative makes a big difference. And I'm talking to you. We need an active citizenry fighting for justice. And that's what this battle in the United States and Europe is all about. So I'm harleysch. Today is January 9th, 2025, and this is your morning update from the LaRouche organization. Now, interestingly, there was a headline in Haaretz, a leading Israeli newspaper, yesterday, quote, "Israel wants to turn the West Bank into rubble, just like Gaza," unquote. And it's a reference to statements from the Greater Israel expansionists, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, who are saying that there must be a destruction of Palestinian life in the West Bank to turn it into rubble. They've said that. This is their explicit statement. Now, if they succeed, here's what the article goes on to say, that their goal is to impose Greater Israel apartheid in the occupied territories. If they succeed, they will put an end to any future possibility of a two-state solution and sustainable life in the region. It goes on to say that the IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, want a permanent presence in Gaza. So the question of what happens in the day after, even if there's a hostage deal, even if there's a ceasefire, the intent is to sustain the occupation and the policy of ethnic cleansing, getting rid of the Palestinian population as a way of solving the so-called Palestinian problem. So with Biden on the way out the door, he sent the deputy commander of CENTCOM to Israel, Central Command to Israel, to discuss more arms shipments. Who knows, maybe another $5 to $8 billion. And to coordinate a possible joint U.S.-Israeli strike against Iranian nuclear sites, nuclear facilities. What's the intent? To get the U.S. into a war against Iran, at a point at which the Ukraine situation is coming completely unglued. Biden is out in 11 days. Do they really intend to escalate to the last minute? Well, apparently so. Now, there was a response from Trump to this on his Truth Social. He posted an October video of Jeffrey Sachs, the prominent economist and commentator, who denounced the CIA and other U.S. British intelligence agencies for their role in Operation Timber Sycamore. This was the 2012 to 2017 intervention by U.S. and British intelligence agencies to carry out a dirty war to drive Assad out of power. Now, why is Trump posting this? Well, it's very interesting. It's obviously a message to Netanyahu. Is he trying to box in Netanyahu? What he said is this situation in the Middle East must change quickly. Also, at the same January 7th press conference, Trump attacked the decision to expand NATO as a cause of the crisis in Ukraine. Now, today, Lloyd Austin, the U.S. Defense Secretary, is another one of these Ukraine Defense Committee conferences in Ramstein Air Base in Germany to discuss providing more aid to Zelensky. And Biden yesterday announced another $500 million package to Ukraine. Now, this is, what can you say about this? This is an insane decision to continue a war which is lost. And so we see in the Middle East, we see in Eastern Europe, we see in the threats to attack China, that the U.S. war hawks are continuing to push for more permanent warfare. Now, a lot of good, though, can happen in 11 days. And we're in a very expansive mobilization, which I would encourage you to join. This includes a dossier we're preparing in defense of the nominations of Tulsi Gabbard and Patel for FBI director, which is going to point out that the people opposing them are opposing them because they have something to hide. And this includes the whole deep state operation that was exposed in the Hunter Biden laptop question. It includes the people who ran Russiagate and so on. Secondly, we're going to continue to facilitate the release of material from the Doctors Against Genocide. These are doctors who are reporting on what's going on in Gaza to activate people to get the United States to stop being complicit in genocide. And then third, we're in the midst of a fight on economic policy, which includes a support for the idea of a Jubilee year, of reducing debt, ending debt, canceling debt, and actually establishing a new credit system which is based on the development of the physical economy. Now, there are a couple of things I just want to call to your attention that are coming up very quickly. Today, there will be an interview done by Elon Musk with Alice Weidel. Weidel is the chairman of the Alternative for Deutschland party, the so-called extreme right-wing party. She's a candidate for chancellor, and in the latest polls, she's actually leading Friedrich Merz from the Christian Democrats, who's not a Christian nor a Democrat. He served as a chairman of Germany's branch of BlackRock. The fight in Germany is intense, and it was indicated by the leaders of the European Union denouncing Musk for having this interview. What they called for is an intervention for an enforcement of the European Union Digital Services Act. And this says basically that this is an unfair advantage for Musk to use X, his site X, to do an interview with Weidel. Now, what about the media attack against the AfD, the Alternative for Deutschland, which has been nonstop? Why is that not unfair? So we see again the hypocrisy exposed, and we'll see what comes out of this, because the situation in Germany is very intense right now. The economy is in a free fall, and the government, the outgoing government, is continuing to call for more German support for Ukraine, and Merz of the CDU is also calling for not only more support, but the use of the Taurus long-range missiles from Germany by Ukraine to target Russia. Also, let me call your attention to a very fascinating dialogue yesterday between Helga Zepp-LaRouche and Scott Ritter. I'll be linking it in the description section. I would say there were some areas of disagreement, maybe even some tension on certain points, but a full open discussion of what should the policy be. Ritter talking about his concerns about the incoming Trump administration, about the inability to resolve the Middle East. Very interesting discussion. And again, I would encourage you to watch it, because this is what Mrs. LaRouche is going to be doing increasingly, to have these dialogues. For example, last week was with Ray McGovern, and yesterday it was with Scott Ritter. So look at the video, share it with others, and then tomorrow, Friday, I'll be taking your questions, as I do every Friday. So you can send them to me at harleysch@gmail.com. Questions or comments or disagreements. It's okay. Let's have a real discussion. What's needed is for the American people and people in Europe to get engaged in a real fight. By the way, if you live outside of the US and Europe, in Africa or Asia, feel free to participate also, because we're talking about a global fight to overturn 500 years of colonialism and replace it with a new development order and architecture which takes into consideration the benefit of all citizens of every sovereign nation on the planet. And we're fighting against people who want no sovereignty, no governments to defend their own people. So participate, join, share this video, and subscribe to the Executive Intelligence Review so you'll be the person that people can turn to when they want to know what the hell's going on in the world. So thanks for joining me. Don't forget to participate with us tomorrow.